Joe Mixon joins us next, coming up on the WIncinnati podcast.
Yes. Hello, world. We got a special show as always. TJ Houshmandzada, Jimmy Chase, Coach Jimmy Burrow.
Time to be a Bengals
How do you
fan.
balance being a professional athlete and family obligation?
Need your top 5 Bengals of all time.
All time, man.
Yeah.
Shock the world.
Welcome to the WIncinnati podcast. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. He's my co-host, Zim. Zim, say what's up.
What's up? Hello, world. We in this thing. It's a new day for the Cincinnati crew. We back like we never left you. I got another show. Feeling really good. Doing a lot of different things around the house today. Getting my stuff ready for Joe Mixon coming on the Cincinnati pod. What's up with you?
Yes, sir. Getting ready actually for the Tampa game this weekend. I know that a lot of people hit me up, said that they're doing the fans of Cincy joint. So getting ready to make that trip. Definitely looking forward to it. I think a lot of things surrounding that game, right? You talk about the GOAT, Tom Brady, going against the new GOAT, Joe Burrow, kind of a passing of the torch. I feel like it's been a little downplayed by each side because at the end of the day, this is just another game where the Bengals have to try to get another string of these wins that they could have to potentially have a shot at the 1 seed. So I think this is a major game coming up, one where some guys are trying to fight through some injuries and stuff like that. But I think all in all, it's like an exciting week for Houday Nation.
Yeah, man. I'm with you. I feel like we got a lot of different things going on. The Bengals have won 9 out of 11 games. I see everybody doing the Pro Bowl votes, all these different things going on around the league. So
Joe
you got
Burrow
a lot.
6. We got to change that up, bro. That can't be happening.
What?
Joe Burrow, I think yesterday, the Bengals account tweeted that he was 6 in Pro Bowl voting and that they needed to end up getting that up a little bit. But coming up on today's show, we're going to have Joe Mixon join us live. So we're going to talk to him about his season, what things he's got going on. We're going to also preview, obviously, the Bengals and Bucs game that we kind of talked about a little bit. And then there's another divisional matchup happening this week where we're going to have the Browns going against the Ravens. So we'll give our thoughts on that coming up next. All right, we're still waiting for Joe to join us here. So let's start to talk a little bit about the Bengals and Bucs preview, what we kind of think is going to happen with that game. Zen, what are some of the matchups that you think could happen in this game?
I think the one thing I've been monitoring is the injury report with the Bucs game. We've been talking about all these different things that DJ Reader has done in the run game. For me, the Buccaneers is Vita Vea as one of them guys. I don't know if everybody knows, like Shaquille Barrett, I think is on IR. So that was another one of them guys. But Vita Vea is one of those guys that can absolutely destroy whatever you're trying to do in the run game. He's looking like he's not going to be playing. So that's something that bodes well for us. I think we'll probably ask Mixon a couple of different things tonight about how he thinks he can attack it. But I think there are a bunch of teams that have a lot of success in the passing game. We're going to get to our injury report and stuff later on too. But one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of wide receivers have had a lot of success going up against the corners for the Tampa Bay, which I thought Tampa Bay's strong suit is probably like their secondary at the beginning of the season. They've been rattled with a bunch of injuries on their offensive line, some in the defensive end as well too. And you'll see if you look at a lot of the different matchups, even when they played the Browns, there's a lot of teams that have had a lot of success with them in the passing game.
No, you're right. I think the one thing that you mentioned was that secondary. They've been banged up a lot this season. One of the dudes that's having one of the best seasons for them is actually Jamel Dean. Like you said, we'll take a look and monitor what he's going to look like on that injury report. But a lot of their secondary has been banged up. The funny thing about Tampa is they don't score too often, but they still have a lot of yards. When you look at the passing offense, they're second when it comes to them playing at home. When you look at the pass defense, it's ninth. The running attack for them, though, just hasn't been a threat at all this season, honestly. Leonard Fournette, the younger guy that they have now, I believe his last name is White. They just don't really do well when it comes to moving the ball. The offensive line has really kind of struggled a little bit, especially at the tackles. So it'll be interesting. But ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live, we are going to bring in our dog, the man, the legend, the big stepper, Joe Mixon. What's up, Jodein?
What's going down, man?
Nothing much, bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for joining us.
Where you at, bro?
Man, I'm at the Bengals Christmas party right now.
It's hurt right now then.
It's lit. What they got going on there?
Shit, it's over here lit right now. I ain't gonna lie. It's over here lit. Hey, your boy done lost track of time. I felt my phone vibrate. I'm like, oh man, I got my interview I gotta do. I'm like, shit. I'm gonna pull up real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, say less. But no, we'll make sure we get you straight. Ace, you want to start them off with some stuff?
Yeah, we got you, bro. How obviously you feeling good because the Christmas is around the corner, but how are you feeling about the season and just how it's going so far?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously it's blessings to be here where we at. You know what I'm saying? Some people take stuff for granted, and that's one thing about me, especially where I come from real life, humble beginnings. So, I'm definitely blessed to be here and be able to share, this time with them. But really how I feel about the season, man, like it's been a lot of ups and it's also been downs too. But at the same time, like one thing about the season, it's a marathon, not a race. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
not a sprint.
When you talk about them ups, let's talk about that 5 tutty game. We talk a lot of stuff about what we about to do, how you get prepared, how you about to go, and like from a schematic standpoint.
Yeah.
The 5 tutty game against the Panthers, is that like something that you just think in your mind is going to happen every Sunday? Talk to me about why that doesn't happen every Sunday. Like, what was so special about that game?
Yeah, man. I mean, one thing about that game was, obviously, it starts up front, man. Them guys, they was over there locked in, loaded, and everybody believed in the game plan that we can, be physical and dominate the run game. So, always, bro, like my hats always go off to the linemen, tight ends, and receivers, like no matter what. I mean, God gifted me with ability, obviously, and, me being the player that I am, like I expect me to be able to put up numbers, the way that I did. I mean, obviously, the touchdowns don't, come like that as often, but in terms of, putting touchdowns up, like I definitely feel like I should be doing that. I mean, sometimes, it don't happen that way. We got a lot of guys in this locker room that's very unselfish, and we got a lot of playmakers in this building. So it's a great thing really to see, and it's a great problem to have, being a coach. So, I mean, it's a blessing, being able to share the field with these guys, though.
For sure. I know you talked about having the players only meeting with the linemen for y'all to get on track. What do you think the biggest stylistic change to the run game that's been done to kind of get things going?
Yeah, man. I think more so like, being dialed in and executing. Before it was always like one guy or one block away or one read away. And, now that we all on the same page, the same level, I feel like everything's starting to click the way that it is and that we always felt that it can. So, basically when we have games like that, we just got to keep building. We know what we could be. And we got to always trust in and believe in each other. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to execution. When you execute, great things happen. The little things always take care of the big things. So that's one thing that, I pretty much harp on, getting that from my coach.
Yeah, like when you did that, talk to me about that one long run that you had. You were out of 2 games. I think you probably thought you were going to come back a little bit earlier than what you did. But then when you bust out that big game in Cleveland, I think to me, just me observing a lot of different things, I thought that was a big reminder to people on what you do from an explosive level and how you make big plays happen. What did you see on that run, on that big one that you had in Cleveland that made that pop off?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, whether they forgot or whether they didn't, I mean, at the end of the day, I know me. I feel like at the end of the day, to me, to be honest, like, I don't got to prove nobody, wrong or nobody right outside of this building. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that matters is, our teammates, me being the best teammate that I could be. And whether that's, cheering my teammates on, whether that's, making plays or being a leader, it's a reason why I got a C on my chest. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, no matter what's going on, whether it's the good or bad or ugly, I'm gonna always be there no matter what. One thing about me, I'm gonna give all the praise to everybody else. And when times get rough or times go bad, I put the blame on, I gotta get better. I gotta lead my team and I gotta do this and I gotta be able to, show up and show these guys, how to really make the way and really pay the way for them. So, and I feel like we really got a lot of guys that follow suit, and if not, they know how to lead the way the way that they do. So I love being here and I love being around my teammates, man. Like I said, it's a blessing. I'll never take it for granted.
Definitely. One of the things that I always see you doing at the games, or whether it's at the Super Bowl, you kind of had a pregame routine of playing catch with the fans. How did that kind of get started, and what's one of the reasons that you do that?
Yeah, man. It pretty much got started out in Oklahoma. We had this kid named JT Kaufman, and I pretty much kept that same routine being at Oklahoma and being able to throw the ball to little kids. And then as I got to the league, it trended up, throwing it to the little kids and then throwing it to the grown folks too. I mean, at the end of the day, if I was a grown cat, like I'd love to be there, catching the ball from a Joe Burrow or whether it was me or anybody. Like, man, like I'm at an NFL game. Like, this is my favorite team or favorite player.
Right.
Like, so that's one thing that I felt like God blessed me with, being able to make an impact on other people's lives. So, it's always really good to give back. I mean, they come to see your show, so we try to make it worthwhile, bro, the best we can. So that's pretty much my theory on it. And I just love seeing the little kids, happy and seeing their faces, so that's why I do it, to be honest.
Two different things. One thing I want to go back for a second. One thing that I think went under the radar, and I might have told you this too. I thought it was so dope when you weren't there, and people got to pay attention. When P. Ryan got the ball, the ball for the game, the first person to congratulate him was you. Yeah. Like at that locker room when he ran for 100, and that just goes to the unselfishness that we were talking about. And I want people to make sure that they observe that too, and they need to know that about you. The second thing I want to tell you is that me and Ace, there were kids there, right? But at the Super Bowl, we were literally, I know you probably couldn't see us, but we were standing right there in front of you. Your ass was right there, whatever. But it was kids there, and I almost could have caught like a couple of them. But the kids was right there though, and that was the only thing that made me stop and be like, all right, I'm gonna let them do that joint. But you're right, bro. Like when that was going on, I'll never forget that moment. People sometimes ask me about the Super Bowl. I don't really talk about the game that much, but I talk about all that stuff. Like I'd be like, bro, before the game happened, bro, like I should have known like Mixon was gonna throw a touchdown. He was throwing like good spirals in the end zone. So like it's all about that experience.
I feel like I've always been able to, start off and do that, man, in terms of like really throwing the ball and throwing it as far as I could, as far as I can, really to reach the upper deck. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But, I mean, I try to show off the cannon here, man. I mean, obviously, like you said, the Super Bowl, was a surprise to a lot of people. But, we came off to the sideline like, and he can pass. So, what I'm saying? Like, it was cool like that. But, in terms of, like, my dog P. Ryan, like, I've been around P. Ryan for 8 years. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, one thing about, him, ever since I done been out Oklahoma, because we came in together and we also left together. So one thing about him is, like, my dog always been humble. That's one thing about him. Like, no matter what, he always been humble. Two, he always gonna come to work and show up, whether, it's to be the guy or whether it's to be able to compliment me or whatever the case may be. Like, he always gonna show up, and I know what he's gonna bring to the table. Like, so to be real, like, the stuff don't surprise me on what he's done, like at all. It's not one bit. One thing about him is, like, I feel like he's very unappreciated in a lot of people's graces. Like, obviously, people talks about the way how things happen in the Super Bowl. Like, P. Ryan might have been almost the most hated person, from that game. And really, like, people, like, not understanding, like, bro, like, that's why I told when I first spoke to the media, like, my dog can do it. You know what I'm saying? I got all the confidence in the world that he can make plays. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it was an unfortunate situation, and we came up short. That's just what it is.
Don't
It's
you
done and
feel?
over with.
Don't you feel like that's kind of weird? Like when I talk about the Super Bowl in that regard, I hate when fans like just go to the end of the game.
Yeah.
I think about like some of the possessions, like the 4 or 5 possessions prior to it, where you know what I'm saying, we know that the offense can run on a different level. And I thought that was weak when people try to do that to Q Spain. I thought that was weak that they try to make that a P-Ryan thing too, because if they're paying attention all year, he had been in on third down.
Yeah. No, I mean, at the end of the day, I was just talking to the other media too, our main media outlets that come to the locker room, and I tell them, like, everybody try to play us apart from each other, but like that's one thing like people not understanding, like they're not gonna be able to do is try to play one against another. You know what I'm saying? And we both, me and him, being around each other for 8 years now, like we didn't have this understanding since OU. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's why I tell you, bruh's solid. Bruh's a great back. Like he could go anywhere else. I guarantee you, at least half of the teams in the league, he can go there and start right now. Like right now, and be a like real life threat to the league, not just with the team, like to the league. But
right,
he's here, and he's been here for about 3-4 years now. And like I said, for me, I try to do whatever I can to push him, and he does the same thing for me. And it's been like that for years. So at the end of the day, it's a great problem to have, and not even just in a running back room. We have that problem in the DB room. We have that problem in the receiver room. Also, we got backup D linemen and O linemen, and even in special teams. So it's a great problem to have when you have depth like that. So, I mean, we just gonna do whatever we can, man, and just keep, worrying about the things that matter, especially the things that's what's in the building, and just going out there to get the dubs. And we just gotta keep on stacking. We getting hot as a team, so we gotta keep doing what we're doing.
Speaking of stacking them dubs, bro, my man Zim told me you hell on them sticks, bro. I heard you be giving it to him on that Madden.
Oh, yeah, man. It's been a little minute, man, since I done played up on that Madden. I mean, I had a game today versus a fan, but, it's been a little minute since I've been on there competitively. But
do you feel like you're the best player in the league when it comes to Madden?
I'm definitely top 2, if not 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely top 2, if not definitely. I think Derwin James, he a monster in that Madden too. I mean, we didn't duke it out a couple times in Madden. Like he didn't got me a couple times, I didn't got him too. So it gotta be either us two. Hollywood Raw too.
Yeah, I heard
you was telling me about one of the dudes that like not even in the league, like just one of the best players in the country right now. Like you played him before, right?
I play who?
You played one of the best dudes in the country before, right?
Oh yeah, like all the Madden streamers for sure.
Yeah, and you held your own with all them people. So I think I'm telling everybody right now, it's smoke. Like if they want to see the best, they gotta see Jodein.
I mean, when it come down to it, I mean, at least the best up in this locker room. And then when they come down on that stick, I got it for you. You know what I'm saying? So I know for a fact I gotta get in that lab if I'm gonna put myself out there. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure I'm ahead of the game and not behind me. So, if somebody wanted to play me, I definitely get my game right real quick, man. But I definitely feel like I'm that guy in that game.
You love that. When you talk about the lab, one thing I don't think people understand is how hard you work, like on your body, whether it's during the season, in the off season, your relationship with your father. How hard or how has that been like since you've been in the league, and how much of that do you do outside of just normal practice? Or like, what is that like on a daily basis?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got my dad, like, he like a big brother, obviously, like dad to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad, my dad about 53 years old, and he does literally everything that I do, like now, like in terms of working out in the off season. Like you would think he was the one with the contract, like literally. Like, my dad worked hard, and one thing about him, like he pushed me to, a level that I never felt like I would have reached mentally. You know what I'm saying? In the weight room, because that that goes a long way when, you can real life apply that to real life things in life, whether not even on the field, like whether it's in the school or whether it's at your job, like it's real life, mental things that he definitely ingrained into me to where like no matter what, you can put yourself through it as long as you keep going and keep repping it. You know what I'm saying? So he had a great impact on me in my life. And, me being where I'm at, I mean, I give obviously about 50% credit to him because he's the one who actually pushed me to doing it. You know what I'm saying? And he always believed in me since day one. And also, the other half, I obviously got to go with myself because I'm the one who went through the trials and tribulations and all of that stuff. So I stayed focused and I was able to, make it. So now I'm just trying to do whatever I can to, get the best out of this and the most out of it and have fun doing it and being able to inspire other little kids, whether they come from some or they don't, that no matter what, you can make it if you really put your mind to it.
For sure, for sure. Well, bro, I feel like you got some of the livest touchdown celebrations for a running back.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, what's your favorite touchdown celebration that you've done?
Yeah, man. I mean, I ain't going to lie, like, out of any other running back besides me, I'd probably say my dog, Melvin Gordon. My dog, Melvin, be cutting up. Like, I love when he get in the end zone because I know he's going to do something. So, shout out to my dog, MG. But in terms of me, man, I mean, I love that sneeze because I'm from the base. So like that's our thing out there. And then obviously that big stepping, that's where it come from.
I was about to say that big step.
There it go.
I actually used to live in the Bay myself for a little bit.
I got some other stuff too. I got to get in that zone. I got to find that zone. I get in there, I'm gonna break it out for sure.
No, I know a little bit about the Bay. I lived in San Jose for a little bit, so I know a little bit. But I think my favorite celebration for you actually came outside of the field. It was the pivotal game against Juju and the Steelers. You was at the game. You turned up. It was Corvette. You pulled the bet out for Juju. Yeah. After the game, you was turned. The whole city was turned off of that, bro. Talk to me about that moment.
Hey, bro, that's one of the greatest moments in Bengals history, bro. Like, on the low, I don't know if you realize that.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, what's crazy is I just remember I had bought a Corvette, man, like, probably about 3 weeks prior. Then, like, all the Corvette stuff started happening. And then I seen Brett doing that in midfield. Like, I didn't know Juju in high school. You know what I'm saying? So, like, obviously he was with the ops, as we would call him. But, that's my dog. You know what I'm saying? People might hate him, but, being in the recruitment process, like, that was my dog, you know what I'm saying, in high school. So,
right.
I didn't know Juju growing up, and I just kept seeing the little TikToks or whatever the hell it was at the time, and he was doing the little dance and stuff like that. And I said, man, I ain't gonna lie, the best thing probably pulling up to the stadium, I'm pulling up in a bet. Like, I'm gonna pull up in that bet, and I'm like, and they bet not lose. So I promise you, I'm cutting up. And look, as soon as we get done, I'm like, oh, I'm in the crib. Hey, look, so we all talk, we yelling in the locker room, lit. I get to the win.
Bro, hold on. You skipped the part. At the stadium when you was telling everybody get about it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm at the stadium, right? And I remember, like, I'm on a live, like, y'all take y'all ass home, like, bye. Like, bye. I'll see y'all later. We see y'all next year, whatever. So next thing you know, I'm heading to the whip. So I hop up in there. Get in the whip, drop the top. Look, first thing I put on was Corvette. Look, so we over there lit, right? Or I'm over there lit, but I'm on the IG Live turned up talking that shit. And you know what I'm saying? Excuse my language for everybody.
You're good, bro.
But anyway, I'm over there talking that cash, and I'm just over there just lit. And I ran it back again because it was just slapping. It was just slapping harder than, you know what I'm saying? It just felt different because obviously I'm in a bet and I'm slapping the bet song. You know what I'm saying? So, look, at the end of the day, only the real can relate, man. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's real. I want to be respectful. I know you got the Christmas party coming back. Can you talk to us? I know Ace might got another one question after this, but, real quick. on Burrow. What is it like this year from last year to this year? Do you have a moment or something in the huddle or something that we don't know, or maybe in the locker room? What have you seen that just makes you get more confidence in Burrow this year?
I mean, one thing about Joey B is, I'll see y'all later. I mean, one thing about Joey B is, one thing I love about him is his poise. Like, everybody for a long time was talking about his swag and talking about the guy that he is and things like that. Like, for me as a running back and, as the team that we have that he leads, I truly feel like when in a big moment, there's no moment that's never too big for him. And his poise when he's in the pocket and he calling the plays, like, you never see no panic. He gets sacked, there's no panic. 3rd and 10, no panic. 4th and 5, it's no panic. We got Joey B back there. Like, he's calm, cool, and collected at every moment of the game. There's no time where we never have no confidence in him. Like, if it's me and it's that time to make a play and the ball going to his hand, I'm putting all the chips on the table for him. Like, one thing about him, like, the guy, he just got it. I mean, that's really the best way to really explain it. Like, you could say all of the swag and all of this and all of that, like, with his game, like, he just got it, bro. And that's one thing that I love about him. Like, they can talk all the other stuff, but, I mean, he just has it. And as a person, like, he cool as hell, and I love being around him, man. It's no other quarterback that I'd rather be around right now than him.
For sure. Joe, before we get you out of here, I got to get your top 5, bro. This could be current. This could be all time. Your top 5 running backs.
Oh, man. Top 5 running backs of all time for me.
It's one you got to say.
I mean, I say top 5 for me all time got to be, I mean, I'm not going to go in order, but I say Jim Brown. I mean, you got to say Jim Brown. I say about Jim Brown. I say Adrian Peterson. You got Barry Sanders. I feel like people sleep on O.J. Simpson.
Okay.
And also Eric Dickerson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Both of those, yeah. So
I was like the Barry Sanders, the Oklahoma, and all that. I was like, Barry gotta be like, for me, I was really, really, really young, but Barry Sanders was so like, there's nobody in the league that's running like Barry Sanders like to this day, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing about him. He definitely had it for sure. Like, we got the same agent, so I mean, I didn't, chop it up with him a few times and things like that.
Fire.
Super cool, down to earth dude, man. But just admiring their games. Like, I grew up watching all of them, breaking all their tapes down. You know what I'm saying, and trying to implement anything that I can to my bag. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that I always tried doing was, obviously admiring these backs and being able to try to implement something from their game into mine. But that's definitely my top 5 right there for sure.
Well, Joe, we want to thank you, bro, for coming on and spending time. Zim, go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, man, I wanted to say, man, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, bro. Behind the scenes, ain't nobody, I always tell people, I say, ain't nobody ever supported me like my man Jodein. Straight up, like the realest dude that ever put on a Bengals uniform, as far as I'm concerned. Tell the people you got anything that you want them to know as the Bengals go on this on this journey to a Super Bowl. Anything that you could tell them to kind of watch out for, what you think coming up for this season.
I mean, to be real, watch out for us.
They gotta play us.
They gotta play us.
Keep pulling up to the stadium, showing y'all support. I mean, we feel it, we love it, and we appreciate it. So one thing about us, like, at least for me, I feel like we're going to always do whatever we can to put on the show. Y'all just keep pulling up as fans and supporting us in every way, shape, form possible. And we're going to do the same, trying to put on for the city and bring that bowl back. But it's 1 week at a time, and, just enjoy the journey.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. I'll be down there this weekend, so I can't wait for us to turn up. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Have fun at that party, man. Tell everybody we said what's up, man. Tell them it's WIncinnati now. Ain't no more Cincinnati.
That's what I'm talking about. I like that right there, for sure.
All right, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The man, the legend, Jodein, Joe Mixon, class act, great dude. Does a lot for the city of Cincinnati. He talked about bringing smiles to those kids' faces. I remember last year he bought a whole bunch of bikes for the kids. I'm pretty sure he's probably doing something this Christmas. Just a good dude, man. Honestly. But let's talk about some of these injury updates. Let's check out this injury report. It's been a little up and down. I know we
Let me say this real quick. If y'all haven't been following the WIncinnati pod, me and Ace have interviewed a lot of different people, gave a lot of different information, a lot of good stuff, a lot of good content. I think, to me, we're two of the best when it comes to this Bengals stuff.
Yes,
if
sir.
this is your first time seeing this, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you retweet this. Tell a friend. The more and more you do that, I promise you, we can talk to anybody that y'all want us to talk to. Ain't nobody been putting it down like us for the last 5, 6, 7 years. Like, it's on a social media aspect, like all the way through, going crazy every single week. We do this show. We have other shows on the WIncinnati pod as well. The Bengals Pulse, the Bengals 513. Make sure you follow this and subscribe to this channel for more great content.
Yep. Like us, subscribe, do all of that. We appreciate it because you guys help us get on this platform and get the word out. The more views, the more subscribers and stuff that we have, the more guests that we can bring on, and the more dope content that we can bring to you guys. So definitely hit that subscribe button. If you're watching now, hit that like button. You never know how much that helps us. If you want some other Bengals fans to definitely get some of this content that we got going out, definitely be sure to share it with them. Tell them about WIncinnati, the podcast. We're also on iTunes, Stitcher, and all of that. So not only can you find us on YouTube, you can find us in your podcast stores under the name WIncinnati Podcast. Let's talk about this injury report, though. Tyler Boyd, I think he was quoted as today saying that he's preparing like he's expecting to play. It's just a pain management thing with the dislocated finger. This one almost kind of gave me a heart attack when I saw the Joe Burrow elbow, and then I had to see that he was a full participant. But he seems to be okay. Lyle Collins, I think it's just a rest thing, which I like that Zach kind of manages the injury report like that. We do, however, possibly have a slight issue at the slot corner. Jalen Davis and Mike Hilton are battling injuries. They haven't really practiced that much. This could be a Dax Hill week, who's got a hamstring issue, but he was limited today. That could mean that Dax is going to get some slot opportunities. T. Higgins was also limited. And, we got some other guys resting, and Trent Taylor's got the hamstring. That's not surprising to me, just given the weather. And then Hayden Hurst is doubtful this week to play because he's got that calf injury. Trey Hendrickson, that's another big one. Dude played a whole fourth quarter with a broken wrist, right? Didn't even realize it until after the game.
You seen the video of that where he actually he's walking out the tunnel and he's just like, dang, like my wrist is a little sore.
Yeah, they gave him that x-ray, and I think, like you said, Zim, they found that dog in him. They found a couple dogs in him because this man literally played. He went into savage mode like Zim's t-shirt, literally, and went ham there.
Let me just say this: the Tyler Boyd one is his left middle finger. If anybody was interested in like what finger it was, so it's his left middle finger. The bone was exposed. He talked about him being ready and prepared to play. He was in a state of shock, he said, as it went on. A couple of different people have reported that, one guy like Mike Trags on Twitter. You can go follow him. He's a good follow. They also talked about and so he does say he's prepared to play. He's practicing. He says, man, it's a little sore. He's been going through all the drills. Him and T. Higgins have been going through all the drills all week, limited, but we know how Zach Taylor is. Dax Hill did make the comment today that say that he did primarily play more reps in the slot when he was in college, but it's more about communication and stuff in the NFL. So he's getting prepared with Jalen Davis and Mike Hilton being out. He's getting prepared to maybe have his first NFL start. I don't know if that's good or bad for Tom Brady, knowing that in the slot position, but everybody wanted Dax Hill. Here he is. The other one I was going to say is you talked about the Trey Hendrickson. Joseph Osai is also preparing to get his first NFL start. And remember, his first sack was against Tom Brady in preseason.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Osai because he's kind of been on limited snaps, right? So I expect this to be a game where he gets a full kind of amount of or a full share of the snaps. I'm excited to see it, bro. I think, last time Tristan Wirfs was there, Tristan Wirfs isn't even there this time. It might.
Well, he was upgraded today to limited.
Limited, okay. So, come on on.
So that's something that he was upgraded to limited. Also, Mike Edwards, the safety, the Cincinnati native, he was also upgraded to full. Sean Murphy Bunton also was upgraded to full as well.
Oh, so the secondary, it appears, is getting a little healthy for Tampa. So is Jamel Dean getting healthy though? That's the one that matters. Jamel Dean getting healthy?
Dean did not participate.
Nope.
Julio Jones, Carl Nassib, Vita Vea, and like I said at the end, Tristan Wirfs was upgraded to limited.
Okay, all good. Sounds good. Let's get into the game plan. So we're gonna start with the offense. I'm gonna say in this game in particular, I think that this is a game where you also play. I'm not gonna say balance because if Jamel Dean isn't there, we gotta light him up. You gotta run to set up the pass. I think this one, depending on if these Migos all play, you got to take advantage of that injured secondary. I remember it being a similar situation for the Ravens early on. Their entire secondary was out. That's a team that really can't take advantage like we can through the air. So I think that's what you do in this game is you take advantage of what you can get on the ground, but you can really bust this game open, I think, through the air. I think you do that. Offensively, obviously, you got to protect Burrow. It's always going to be paramount. Don't turn the ball over and just enforce your will. I think if you get to 30 against this team, this game's over. Like, this Tampa team does not score points. They've only scored 30 once this season. That was against Kansas City. But this is not a team that can really put up a lot of scores. So I would say offensively, try to put pressure on them, get to 30 anyway, even if it's handing it to Jodein. No matter how you get to 30, just get to 30. What about you, Zim?
I agree. For the most part, you want to score. I think the defense carried a lot last week. When you talk about the Browns game, I think one of the main keys for me is getting Tom Brady off of his platform, trying to get him moving and uncomfortable. To me, this is a big game for DJ Reader up front to push. If y'all don't know, the starting center for the Buccaneers, Jensen, had went on IR before the season even started.
Remember when Bengals fans wanted him like crazy, Ryan Jensen?
Yeah, I still would want him. Like, he's a dog. He just unfortunately gotten an injury and you can't control it. But early in the season,
give me Teddy K, bro. Give me Teddy K after that Tennessee game. Tennessee game, I don't know.
For sure. So, the center position has been an issue with them all along. So, I think DJ Reader pushing the pocket up front is going to be a major deal in this game. You got Joseph Osai probably playing like his first, real meaningful snaps. And I think the energy and everything that he's going to do, I think is going to bode well. I think if early in this game, Dax Hill doesn't look that good in the slot, I think the adjustments will be Dax Hill more so going on some more like slot blitzes, helping out in the run game, which I think he'll thrive at. And that's something I don't worry about from him at all. So I'm not worried about him in that aspect. There's different things I think for Bengals fans, we look at this team and say, like, what can Joe do? Like you were saying, like, if we score 30, sure. But I think, like, the defense can carry this game a lot. If you watch a lot of the Buccaneers struggles, even last week, only fell into just score 7 points. They've only scored 30 points one time, and that was against the Chiefs. If you're able to just regulate that, even if the offense isn't hitting on all cylinders, the defense has shown they haven't allowed a 300-yard passer all year. So if you can just keep everything in front of you, keep those things in control, Cam Taylor-Britt in his one-on-one matchups that he does have with Mike Evans, he just needs to be able to break it up or maybe finally get his first pick. A lot of times on those big plays with the bigger body receivers like Treylon Burks, I feel like he was right there. He just didn't break it up and he didn't get his hand in there. So if he can do that early on in this game and set the tone, we know that they're going to stop the run. I think the defense can carry this game. It might be another 24, like 22-17, 22-10 game. A lot of these games that the Bucs have been playing lately, they've got their points at the end where Tom Brady has gone on like those drives to come back and win it. If the Bengals dominate and do what they do throughout, I think that gives the offense all the ammunition he needs to separate themselves. Joe Mixon, I know one of his goals is 1,000 yards. He's got 4 games left. He's got 700 yards. If they can run the ball effectively, he can get like 120, 130. Whoa, look out for the 1,000. Also, Tyler Boyd playing. I know that him getting to 1,000 is really important as well, too. So there are little back goals and stuff like that I think that these guys are going to be looking for. And you'll see, I think Joe Burrow is going to be looking for, I know Boyd's finger is hurt, but he's going to need a route runner in this game early on because on paper, their secondary is really good. It is a little banged up, and as I kind of outlined, it's getting back a little bit better. But I think we're in good shape, and I think the defense carries once again.
Yeah, I think, and shout out to our man Jimmy Robinson for the super chat. We appreciate that. He says from Georgia with love, Uday.
Appreciate
got Bengals fans from all over the nation tapping in. My man Michael Noonan with the $20 super chat. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, we appreciate your support and you guys rocking out with us. I would say defensively, the goal is to get pressure to Brady. Attack those tackles, try to get that pressure from that side of the things. When it comes to the zone defense, try to mix it up with some pressure because this is a super veteran in Tom Brady that has seen literally every single defense you could throw at him. But I think those young corners like Eli Apple and Cam Taylor-Britt, hopefully they just do a great job of keeping those guys in check. Don't let any of those guys like a Chris Godwin or Mike Evans try to wreck the game. Keep the run game out of control or under control because I don't really think they're going to throw it. They're going to run it that much. I think they'll throw it more. So
try to throw it.
So,
don't you feel like Godwin's the guy? If Donovan Peoples-Jones kind of gave them problems last week, him being a little bit speedier. Don't you feel like Godwin's the guy that you probably pay more attention to?
Godwin is a guy that
ain't out of the slot.
Great play and then have like an easy drop. Like he is a good player. The one guy that I worry about that Brady hasn't been on the same page with for the most part of the season is a guy like Mike Evans because I feel like he's kind of underrated. You don't really hear him mentioned with like the top 5, top 10 receivers. This can't be the game where they let him get up. But I agree with you. Godwin is another dude that they can't let get.
He lines up in the slot. Well. He can be in the slot primarily. Yeah. So, and with that speed, that's something to really look for.
Yep. So, definitely look at it from that perspective. But, I think the defense should be fine, just making sure that they keep them out of the end zone, bend but don't break. And I think that they should be good where it goes from there. I think the defense takes care of business. So next, we got some prop bets. So we just had our man Joe Mixon. I'm pretty sure we got to take the over for this. Joe Mixon. 58.5 rushing yards versus Tampa Bay. I think we both taking the over on this one, right? Yeah, I definitely think we.
I'm taking the over. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm taking the over. Let's run that? Let's get together a parlay right now. Let's get this thing like let's get it together. I'm taking that's leading the charge right there. Mixon, I think one thing I told him directly. I said, man, everything happens for a reason. He said, yeah, bro, and I think he came to the locker room and he was like, man, that's one of those great things that behind the scenes, I think he probably wanted to play after the concussion, but I think he probably feels a lot more fresh and he's got a lot more energy to his, to his running. Man, shout out to Trace. Shout out to my boys in Chatterbox.
We're going to have to do some of that to put on some of these prop bets, right? We're going to have to.
Right. It's only right.
Prop bets from us. For us, appreciate that, man.
Shout out to Jason and the people at Chatterbox, man. They held it down earlier today. They were talking Tom Brenneman, big friend of mine, man. He was holding it down, telling everybody free Zim on Twitter and stuff. I just thought it was super dope because he's got so much stuff on his show to bring up me. I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate all the guys over at Chatterbox.
Good dude, great crew over there. Yeah, they do some great stuff over there for sure. So we're both taking the over on Joe Mixon on the rushing yards. I think that's free money there, people. You might want to try to look at that one yourself. The next one, though, over under Mike Evans, 58.5 receiving yards versus Cincinnati. I think for this one,
that's a tricky one. That won't go on the
I'm gonna
parlay
take
right
the
there.
over on this one because, like, even if he gets over, like, say Mike Evans has 75 yards but no touchdowns, that's a great job, I think, for Cam Taylor-Britt and Eli Apple in a game like that. 58 yards and a touchdown. I still feel like that's not bad for Mike Evans. What you don't want is like 100, 120, something like that, like what Jamar Chase just did to Cleveland last week. You don't want that. I'm gonna take the over though, because I feel like it's a little disrespectful to Mike Evans to say like he can't get 58 yards in the game.
I'm gonna take the under because I think Lou Anarumo, and I know that's kind of crazy, but I just think that Lou Anarumo is gonna say, I know that Mike Evans is the guy that can come and get us in the red zone, get us for the big plays, and I think for most of the day you'll see Jesse Bates maybe shading towards his side. But that's what scares me about the Godwin one. It's like one mistake with Dax Hill or something like that. Godwin is no joke. Now, he hasn't looked like himself after his injury. I don't know if y'all know, towards ACL last year, fighting back this whole entire season. He's on my fantasy football team. But I'm a little worried about Godwin. But Evans, for some reason, maybe that's just a preference thing. I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, no problem. I forgot about Tom Brady's comment. He said that the Bengals had a fairly tough defense. That was a little spicy. I think Lou might take that a little personal. So that brings us to Tom Brady and our quarterback, Joe Burrow. Who has more passing yards in this game? Is it Joe Burrow or Tom Brady? You're taking Joe Burrow on this one.
Joe went on to Colin Cowherd and said, hey, it's just another game. And I saw the look in his eye. It is not another game for my man Joe. He's out to show everybody it is my time. Pass the torch. He said, we ain't doing no jersey swaps. It ain't no whatever. He said, I need my competitive edge and all that stuff there. When it's time to go.
Is it a pass or is he just taking it?
He's just got to take it, bro.
Is he snatching it?
I think Tom Brady still figures out a way to make it to the playoffs, even after he loses to the Bengals on Sunday. I feel like he's still, but I don't think that they go far in the playoffs, and it is what it is. But I just think that Joe Burrow with his weapons, if Tyler Boyd and Higgins play, I really think that is going to be clearly over. The only scenario I could see Brady having more yards is if it's in garbage time and he's just trying to, whatever. I think the Buccaneers will win based off of mistakes from the Bengals, turnovers, and short fields, which wouldn't lead to more yards for Brady. It's just Brady capitalizing.
I'm taking Tom Brady.
Whoa,
2.0. Okay. Joe Burrow. Give me
I was like, hold up.
Give me Joey B, man. He's going to have more.
Do you like those comparisons? Do you like the Burrow-Brady comparisons?
I love it.
Really?
I love to compare. Like, honestly, I remember I made that comparison, I believe, in the Spaces, and people, laughed at me. This was in the early offseason of Spaces, and people were like, no, he's not. But I just think, I think Joe said it himself. He's got a little bit of everybody, right? But I think a lot of his game, when I look at style, when I look at short to medium accuracy, like pinpoint accuracy, I just think of Tom Brady. When I think about the clutch, the unraveledness, I think of Tom Brady. But he's got more to his game than that because Tom Brady can't run like him. There's certain things that Joe can do that Tom Brady can't. I don't think Tom Brady is busting out the pocket and hitting the DB with a spin move. Like, that's shiesty work right there.
That's another. I think Burrow, I don't know what the over-under on his rushing yards, but I think Burrow runs for 45, 50 yards on Sunday as well, too.
I think so for sure.
That's another one.
Making that a part of his game for sure.
The Brady-Burrow comparisons, I get it. And I know that they, but I think as a society, we're really quick to compare the greatest person. And Brady he's done so much that I don't like it in that realm because I think it takes away from all the great stuff that he does. But if you're saying, what are the traits that Burrow has, 100%, stone cold killer, go win a game at the end of the game, it's Brady and Burrow, bro. But a lot of people too, you'll see in the comments and stuff like that, they hate it so much because they're fearful, I think, of what Burrow's about to do. And then the people like us understand when you see it and you know it, you really, really, really know it. Even my favorite Bearcats teams of all times, even if Kenyon Martin doesn't break his leg, I kind of question would they just run the table? There's a little bit of ifs, but with Burrow, like you just don't question it. Like you know it, and you know every single. Like you can't win every single game. Which the Super Bowl we learned. I think if he doesn't hurt his knee in the Super Bowl, we win it too. That's another thing. But you just know it, and in the outsiders that don't pay attention to it every day, they don't get it. But throughout time, we'll show them.
The funniest thing that Tony, the Steelers fan, ever said to me, or not the funniest, but the best thing I like that he ever said to me, it was kind of funny too. He was like, "Yeah, Tom Brady didn't retire; he just moved to Cincinnati, and now I'm gonna have to deal with him for the next decade." In the Bengals uniform.
Look, Quincy had some great comments after the game too, and I was he articulated it so much better than I ever could, and I wanted to give him a shout out for that.
Yeah, shout out to Q.
So many Browns fans kept on saying, well, it's the coaching, and it's all these and he just flat out said, hey, look, y'all gotta stop saying that and just understand that the Bengals are really hot right now. And it doesn't mean that we as Browns, and I'm paraphrasing, doesn't mean that the Browns are trash. It just means that the Bengals were really good, and y'all at some point, and that was my thing coming into that game. I thought so many Browns fans paid attention to, oh, we got their number and da-da-da, and they weren't paying attention to the Bengals. They're on like a 4-game winning streak. They just knocked out the Chiefs, and it becomes like almost like a delusion. Like you want to be a real hardcore fan, but you also want to be realistic too. Like, sure. Even if you don't think the Bengals are the best team, as a Browns fan, I just think that they took that for granted. And then the following day, they're like, fire Stefanski, fire Joe Wood. I'm like, relax. You just played a really good
season and everything. Yeah,
bro, you just played a good team. They was talking about what y'all think we could get from Myles Garrett. I'm like, oh God.
My goodness.
Like, come on, bro. Like that stuff is wild.
I want to do something special. He's probably gonna kill me because he's in the back helping us make this show run so well. But I wanted Ryan to bring himself in because the next segment we have is actually going to be winning ways, and it's presented by Fan Cave Pro. Fan Cave Pro, as you can see, he's got the dope stuff back there. That's the Fan Cave Pro that you guys can get. It's the place to design and create the fan cave of your dreams. Fan Cave that pro. Oh, I'm messing this up for you, Ryan. FanCavePro.com. Go there and book your free consultation. As you can see, this man does great work. I'm in the process of getting my stuff together, but that is a little sneak preview of Fan Cave Pro. We appreciate you, Ryan, for everything that you do. But speaking of those winning ways, Zim, give your winning ways of how the Bengals could win this game in Tampa.
First one, Joe Mixon has to run the football efficiently. I guess my opinion is a little biased. He just came on the WIncinnati pod. If y'all missed that, make sure y'all go back and subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff. Check out that interview. I thought it was a really dope one. He was at a Christmas party for the Bengals at Paycor Stadium, so you could kind of hear a little bit of background, but it was a dope interview, I thought. Joe Mixon running the football efficiently. Joe Burrow getting the Migos back and he's playing lights out. Getting his being pocket awareness up to limit the amount of sacks, if any at all, just keeping up with that. And then from a defensive standpoint, keeping everything in front of him. DJ Reader just stopping the run. Like we're going to see that I almost feel like we're at the point in the season where we know certain things, like you're not running on the Bengals, bro. I'm sorry. That's one of my keys to victory, but it's like it goes without saying, like you're not running on him. DJ Reader is playing at him and Joe Burrow are both locked in at this level, like in football that very few people get, I guess, at certain times. And when you watch it on tape, it's just like it's like mistake-free football. Shoot, Pratt playing like that too to me as well. Logan Wilson was playing like that. But it's certain things like they just aren't making mistakes. And you're not, when I go back and I look at these plays, there's like 3 or 4 plays at home. It's just like a simple check down. But Burrow's getting out of it, and his sense of awareness is top notch, bro. But making Brady feel uncomfortable. Let Reader just be Reader. Stopping the run and Joe Mixon running the football efficiently, I think gives you a comfortable victory.
Definitely. I completely agree. I think if they do that, they will cook. And speaking of cooking, we get to display or debut the new Midwest Best Barbecue commercial. Let's get into it.
Ace Zim will keep us up on that Bengals news. And when they get it hit it, Midwest Rescue is the move. On our way to make it through the gritty. Kickball wings is so smooth that you need 50. Ace Zim will keep us up on that Bengals news. And when they get it hit it, Midwest Rescue is the move. On our way to make it through the gritty. Kickball wings is so smooth that you need 50. Ace will keep us up on that Bengals news. And when they get it hit it, Midwest Rescue is the move. On our way to make it through the gritty. Kickball wings is so smooth that you need 50. Ace will keep us up on that Bengals news. And when they get it hit it, Midwest Rescue is the move.
Shout out to Midwest Best Barbecue, the new commercial. Coming at you, 669.
Uno wings to make you do the gritty. Ace Zim. Hey,
they shouted us out in this one, man. I appreciate them. Definitely check them out. The funny thing is, the guy that's at the beginning of the video, I remember him coming out to when we had the show at Midwest Best Barbecue.
That's my boy Shine, bro.
Yes, sir. Shine. Good to see them out there getting those Uno wings, making them do the gritty. I even saw the standing man. The standing man. Who you know can cook up some wings like that, hit the gritty, and then hit you with the standing man. Our man Tim over at Midwest Best Barbecue. Shout out to them. They do amazing stuff over there. Speaking of the Brownies, you were speaking of the Brownies. They're taking on the Ravens. This is a Saturday game. It's crazy, right?
Ooh, like, that's beautiful.
Saturday.
How would that be to watch that on a Saturday knowing? I'm going to tell you, the way our players are, the old Bengals, like say that the Ravens lose or something, right? The old Bengals would have been like, you know, like we would have had you know, like it would have treated like a primetime game and faltered. I'm telling you this, the Ravens lose that game, it's going to make the Bengals players turn up and just go out and just probably blow out the Bucs and just take over the North, bro. Yep. I really think like they're going to take over the North. But
I think the Browns can get them in this one, bro.
I think they can too. I watched that Ravens, I went back and looked at that Ravens and Steelers one. For one, the Steelers' run defense was horrible in that game.
I don't know. Horrible. They just decided how to play. I don't know what
they were giving J.K. Dobbins holes like the size of like I don't know, like
I was gonna say something very inappropriate, so I'm gonna just leave it there.
They were creating offensive line holes open for J.K. Dobbins, like I just could not believe. And there's a little bit of me that says that, man, they might do the same thing to the Browns with that bad run defense, but I just don't see. Think about this: Mitch Trubisky had like 250, 280 or something on them. Yeah. The way that Bill Cosby played against us last week, I think that he will come back and get him work. And think the 3 red zone trips from the Steelers in that game, 3 picks by Mitchell Trubisky in that same, you know, I don't think Watson makes that same mistake, bro. So
right.
We need them to win, but the Ravens. The one thing I think I've been doing is been like, bro, they get so lucky, and they do. They get lucky as hell. But there is something to be said about their defense getting consistently. I think it's getting better and better. Like with Roquan integrated in there, Marlon Humphrey has played one of his better years too. Marcus Peters not so much, but it is something to be said about that. So defensively, I do worry about that. But if Chubb can run, I think Chubb will have way more success against them than he did against, you know, the Bengals. Right. I see a path. You know how bad I want them to lose, bro. That's why I get turned up. Like
this is the one, Zim. I think this is
the one.
You got Deshaun Watson going up against the backup quarterback there. It's probably actually going to be Huntley to play this game, but you know, Kenny Pickett went out early in that game. Like Kenny Pickett got like a couple series and then he was out of that game. This is going to be Deshaun Watson. This is going to be Nick Chubb. This is going to be an actual team that they're playing. Like we just beat them, but like this is a team that actually has players on it that can beat them. So I think Deshaun Watson probably gets his first win here against the Ravens. Let's hope, because if that's the case, like you said, we'll be playing Sunday for the AFC North Championship. Speaking of Sunday, Tampa, everybody's heading down. Please be sure to support us and our sponsor, and I'll be there with Fans of Cincy at the tailgate. Those tickets are still available. If you already got your hotel booked, you already got everything booked, and you're trying to figure out where the tailgate is in Cincy or in Tampa, where the Cincy fans will be at, Fans of Cincy, definitely be sure to book that. It's going to be a free DJ there, free drinks, free food, literally everything. It's going to be lit. Like if you were at any of the sessions that they've had in Tennessee, New Orleans, Tampa is going to be a movie. Get down there. I'm from down here. I know it's a ton of Bengals fans that are going to be down there. I know it's a ton of Bengals fans in Florida that are watching this right now. So if you are here, I know because some of you guys have already hit me up, be sure to swing through the Fans of Cincy tailgate. It's going down. Don't forget the game is, I believe, starting at 4 o'clock. So it's going to be plenty of time for us to turn up down there. So definitely be sure to go to fansofcincy.com. Book that now. You can get that taken care of. They'll let you know exactly where to meet up with everybody at. Like I said again, where else can you go that's going to have all you can drink, all you can eat, and a DJ, and a ton of Bengals fans there. So definitely be sure to hit up Fans of Cincy. And even if you don't get it online, if you get down there, you can also buy them at the entrance as well. You'll be able to purchase your ticket to get into the tailgate and get your wristband. And you get a cool rubber band too. You get like a Fans of Cincy Bengal colored rubber band. So it's dope. Definitely be sure to hit us up. So appreciate that. And as you guys know, we come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30. We also have the Bengals Post that's coming to you now on Mondays and Fridays. And we also have my man Eric with the 513. So definitely be sure to tap in. And before we get out of here, Zim, was there anything you wanted to say, bro?
Man, keep on rocking with us. Keep on supporting. I feel like we had a really good interview with Mixon earlier. If y'all don't know, make sure y'all follow the WIncinnati pod. Keep the free Zim going. We're going to try to get my account back. I feel like I got a lot of – yeah, we're going to get it back at some point. But
Zim knows some people too. How we end up with this joint tonight? They ain't the only people that know somebody. We know some people too.
I know a couple people, so we're working on some stuff. In the meantime, though, I'm doing really, really good, though. So I'm really happy. We're all getting ready for the holidays. Make sure y'all keep it positive. Keep on supporting us. Shout out to my man Tracer Chatterbox again earlier. Shout out to all the super chats, and shout out to everybody that continues to support us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, WIncinnati Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow New Stripe City. And go to newstripecity.com for merch, zimhude.com for merch on my end too. I can't guarantee before Christmas anymore because it gets kind of crazy, but I do think you would, but I can't guarantee it. But if you can put some orders in, get your family some good merch and stuff before the holidays, do so. newstripecity.com, zimhude.com.
Yes, sirski.
Yes, sir. Hello, world. We got a special show as always. TJ WIncinnati, Jimmy Chase, Coach Jimmy Burrow.
Time to be a Bengals
How do
fan.
you balance being a professional athlete and family obligation?
Need your top 5 Bengals of all time.
All time? Yeah. Shock the world.